Welcome, my name is Olive and this class is another slow power flow. We've got a lot of thoracic movement involved in the sort of first half, and then the second half we've got a lot of lower body activation, looking at active movements and passive movements and just general sort of stabilization and muscular awareness. So I hope you enjoy. All you're going to need is of course your yoga mat and a block if you would like when it comes to certain poses. But yeah, we're going to start sitting down, so I'll see you there. Just find yourself in a comfortable seated position. I'm going to be in a kneeling position, but whatever works best for you. I'm going to start with the hands on the knees. And we're just going to allow the rib cage to fall to the hips, chin to the chest. So we're really flexing into the spine. Just breathing here for a minute. Moving all the way down from the back of the head down to your tailbone in terms of the breath. Then on your next inhalation, slide the hands up the thighs, lift the rib cage above the hips, start to extend out, maybe looking all the way upwards. Now focusing on the breath, moving down the front of the body. And then again, slowly reverse. So just moving between these two postures for the spine at your own pace. Try sync up and move with your breath. So just get the spine moving through two planes, and then we're going to change it up. And then slowly coming all the way back into a neutral position. From here we're going to bring ourselves up into kneeling. So feel free to put a pillow underneath your knees, have the back toes tucked, and we're going to have the knees about hip distance apart. So hands are going to be either side of your body, and slowly you're going to lean towards the right, back through center, and then towards the left. So as you do this, you want to only try and move from your torso, so mainly from the thoracic region. Your hips are going to stay nice and still. What we want to avoid is pushing the hips out to the opposite side as we bend. So drawing and bracing through the core, making sure we're squeezing the butt. And then next time you come through center, staying here for a sec. So again, keep the toes tucked, have them flat, whatever feels best. We're going to now just bring in some rotation. So you're going to drop your butt back down to the heels. And then when you extend and lift up the hips above the heels, you're going to rotate towards the right hand side. Option to tap the right heel with the right hand. Then back through center, again, drop the butt, pick up, squeeze, rotate, tap to the left. So just nice and simple to start with. Looking at a little bit of a hip hinge, core involvement, so we keep the hips facing forwards even when we start to twist. A little bit of a foot and an ankle stretch too. And let's just go one more time each side. And then back through to center, come onto your hands and onto your knees. And whilst you're here, just move through any other spinal movements. So you could do more cat-cows, you can twist side to side, whatever feels good. I just wanted to focus a little bit on particular thoracic movements to warm up, because we encompass it quite a lot in this sequence. So from here we're going to have a little look at some bird dogs. Bird dogs are a really lovely way to develop, again, core awareness and pelvic stability, shoulder stability, and looking at strength in a hold. So start to make sure your shoulders are stacked over your wrists, your hips are over the knees. Nice and slow, you're going to lift the left hand in front and make a fist. So it's super active, super engaged, and then slowly lift the right leg straight behind you. You want to have your back heel no higher than your glutes, so not up there. So we make sure that everything is neutral and in line. We're feeling the breath move easy. We're pushing down into the remaining limbs on the floor. I'm squeezing and I'm activating my right posterior chain from the glute down to the heel. I'm going to breathe here for one more breath. And then slowly release. And we'll swap sides. So again, right hand goes in front, we make a fist, extend the left leg behind. Making sure that there's equal push through the left hand and the right knee. The left leg is in line with the glutes, or maybe it's a little bit lower. But again, feel that activation, make sure you're breathing for 2. And then on one, slowly, slowly lower all the way back to down to tabletop. Cool. So before we come up into down dog and then our salutations, we're just going to do a little bit more core work just to stimulate and fire everything up. So from your tabletop position, push into the hands. Shoulder blades are in neutral, so not too much protraction or retraction. And then we're just going to lift the knees about an inch off the floor. So brace through the core, lift the knees. Cool, we're going to pulse between here and down dog. So when you're ready, push the hips up, but keep the heels off the ground. So it's a fairly narrow downward dog, a little bit of a sharper V position. And then we're going to slowly again descend and come back to our tabletop, but with the knees off the ground. So you've got to control the descent. Then again, push back, elevate, shoulders are behind the wrists. And then as you bring shoulders back over the wrists, let the knees gently come down. I'm going to do this a couple more times. Nice and slow, nice and controlled, because as we know, that makes the muscles respond a little bit stronger. Good, let's go one more time. And then finally, when you drop the knees back down to the ground, walk the hands in, flip onto flat feet, lift the butt up, come to cradle the arms, gently rocking yourself side to side in ragdoll. You can let the hands go long if you want. Little bounce, little sway, whatever feels good. Then take the hands onto the shins, slowly walk yourself all the way up through to standing. And when you get to the top, just have a little bit of a shakeout. So, we're going to come to the top of our mat and do some slightly different sun salutations today, more inspired by the moon salutations. So starting at the top of the mat, feet about hip distance apart, hands are going to be by your side. On your inhale, draw the hands up and above your head. Then on the exhale, you're going to bend to the right, but again, try just move through the thoracic spine. Inhale back through center. Exhale to the left hand side, so plant down through both feet. Inhale through center, and then exhale, folding forwards. Take your time, release the hands wherever, look behind. Inhale to halfway lift, take the hands to the thighs or the shins, looking forwards. Exhale, we plant those hands, stepping back with the right leg, drop that knee, then inhale, come up into a low lunge position. So holding here for a breath or two, thinking about having strong foundations, so activating the front hamstring and the back quad and hip flexor. One more breath. Then exhale to plant those hands. You're going to step the left leg behind, lift up into plank. Inhale here. Then exhale, knees come down, and we're going to lower halfway. So brace through the core, bend the elbows, lower halfway, and then inhale to lift, up to cobra, exhale to downward facing dog. So here for a couple of breaths, move about, wriggle, whatever feels good. Allow the head to maybe nod, whatever feels nice. And breathing. Checking that we've got a nice regular inhale and exhale before we introduce more movement. So one more breath. And then next inhale, we're going to float the right leg straight behind us. As you look between the hands, shoulders over the wrist, plant the foot between, let the left knee come to the floor. Inhale, and coming up, low lunge. So again, making sure the glutes are switched on, the core is braced, the feet are active. Nice, one more breath here. Then on the exhale, you plant the hands next to the front leg, step the left foot in, arrive halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, push through the ground, taking both hands up. Exhale again, you're going to bend to the right. Inhale through center. Exhale to the left. Inhale through center. And then exhale to release. Cool, we're going to do it one more time. So again, when you're ready, grounding down through the legs. Inhale, circle both hands up. This time, exhale to the left-hand side. Inhale through center. Exhale to the right. Inhale through center. Exhale, fold yourself forwards. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, this time step back with the left leg. Drop that knee, bring the shoulders over the hips, arrive to low lunge. So again, just to reiterate, think about driving your front heel behind towards the midline of the body and the back knee forward. So everything is suddenly engaged and we're super stable through the hips. One more breath. Then on the exhale, hands come down. We lift the back leg, step back to plank. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, knees. Elbows wrap in, we lower halfway. Inhale to push and lift. Then exhale, return. Downward facing dog. Taking a moment here. Breathing. Pedaling out the feet if that works. So the reason we're lowering down halfway today in our sort of chaturanga, so it's more of a chaturanga press, is just to develop the strength in the middle of the movement. Good. We're going to take one more breath here. Inhale, float the left leg behind you as the shoulders come over the wrist. Plant that foot between the hands. Right knee drops. Inhaling to bring both hands up and above the head. Again, trying to establish that strength into the legs. One more breath here. Exhale, both hands land in front of the left foot. Step the right leg in, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, drawing both hands up. Exhale, bend to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale to the left. Inhale to center. And then exhale, releasing your hands. Lovely, so we're going to come into our first sequence. I'm going to change direction so you can see me. We're going to start by grounding down into the right leg, so nice and strong. Lifting both hands up above your head. So we're going to draw the palms to our heart center, and as we do, trying to simultaneously lift the left knee to the chest. So inhale, draw down, bring everything together. So squeezing and engaging the glutes, using your left hip flexor to keep this leg elevated. Grounding down, find something to look at. One more breath here. And then when you're ready, you're slowly going to tip the body forwards, kick that left leg behind you, let it land to the ground on the balls of the back foot, lift shoulders over the hips, extending up into our high lunge position. So just as we did in low lunge, make sure those legs are super active because we're going to need it as we come into some more movement. So you're going to take your right hand down onto that right knee. This left hand is now going to start down by our hips. So involving some shoulder and thoracic rotation. Take an inhale, lift that left hand up in front of you, create a big circle and open it up behind. Make sure both hips still face forwards. And then again, sweep it back in front. Let it land down by your hips. So 2 more times. Inhale to lift and extend. And use the exhale, bring yourself forwards. Just one more time. So again, make sure we're stable through the legs. Inhale to lift. Rotate through the thoracic spine. And then exhale. Bring it all the way forwards. When the hand is landed, return, bring both hands up. From here, we're going to push into the front leg, start to straighten it up, lift the back heel as high as possible, still squeezing the glutes. We're going to interlace the hands, so take them down by your side, roll the shoulders back, see if you can take hold of the hands behind you. Now super slowly, I want you to find extension through the thoracic spine, so lift the chest up. You either stay looking forwards if you feel comfortable, maybe tilting your gaze up. But again, as you do, be mindful of the legs. Maybe take a little bit of a bend in the front leg. Breathing into the chest. Steady yourself. It's a tricky balance to be in anyway when we're looking forwards. So harder when we look up. One more breath here. And then chin draws down to the chest. We're going to come into a variation of humble warrior. So start to bend into the front leg. Inhaling. Then exhale, bring your chest towards the front knee. You can rest your right shoulder on top. As the chin drops and we look to the back leg, we slowly start to allow the hands to move towards the ground. Again, as much as you want to, you can keep them to hold towards your lumbar spine if you like. But again, because of a lot of the weight is in the front leg, make sure there's weight to the back leg too. One more breath. Now I want you to gently, gently release your hands, plant them on the inside of the right leg, and then walk them to the center of your mat, turning all 10 toes to face a long edge. Inhale here in wide-legged forward fold. And then on the exhale, we're going to start to bend. Bend your knees if you need. You're going to take the right hand to the middle of the mat, the left hand, fingertips face down your lower spine. We're going to inhale here. And then on the exhale, slowly start to rotate towards the left-hand side. Now you only rotate as much as your thoracic spine will allow you to. We don't want to awkwardly twist too much into the hips and load one leg more than the other. We want to keep it balanced. So again, that's why the hand is on the lower back, as a little reminder of our hip position. One more breath. And then slowly, slowly rotate back towards the ground onto the left side. So left hand down, right hand to the low back. Inhale here. Exhale, slowly rotate towards the right. Again, make sure you're pushing through the left hand. Rotation is from this thoracic area rather than the hips. So we're just trying to create this little pathway so we remember what it feels like, particularly when we come to the next side. So one more breath here. And then exhale, rotate, release both hands back down to the floor. From here, we're going to turn the right toes forwards again, walk the hands to face the inside of the leg, bending the right leg, and windmill both hands up, opening up into warrior two, ever so briefly. Now this is one of my favorite little movements, again, thoracic isolation, so steady through the legs. You're going to move the hands and the chest forwards, and then drawing back, just as much as you can control without moving through the legs. So we use again the obliques either side to find that movement. One more time each way. And then as you come back through center, windmill those hands down, stepping back to your plank. Inhale, prep. Exhale, knees. Elbows in lower halfway. Squeeze and hold here if you want. Use your inhale to lift, push through feet. Exhaling, downward facing dog. So again, couple of breaths here, walk out through the legs. Make sure we're still pushing through the hands, so shoulders are supported. And one more breath. When you're ready, look between the hands. You can step or you can jump to the top of your mat, arrive to halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, push 3 feet through the floor, hands go up. And then again from here, I'm going to swap sides. We're going to start to shift the weight onto our left foot. As the hands draw down, we lift up the right knee. So again, try to keep your hips and your spine neutral. You don't want to extend too much, you don't want to flex too much. Using the hip flexor, focus your eyes. One more breath. On your exhales, you tilt the torso forwards, bend the left leg, shoot the right toes behind you, extend and lift up into your high lunge. So again, just to reiterate, think about driving your front heel back and your back toes in. So hamstring switch on, hip flexors and quad switch on. Cool. Left hand comes down to that knee. Right hand now starts down by our hips. We inhale, we reach that hand in front, then rotate and open it behind. Exhale to bring it back forwards. Inhale to lift and open. Exhale, forwards again. One more time, make sure your hips still stay facing in front. Exhale, return. Lovely. As both hands lower, reset, bring them back up. Straighten up the front leg. Try lift your back heel as high as you can. Again, as the hands come down by your side, roll the shoulders back, interlacing those hands. Squeezing the glutes, brace through the core, lifting and extending through the chest. Maybe tilting the head up. Again, you might feel more stable or less stable on this side. I'm certainly less stable, my God. One more breath. And then chin comes down. Bring the body, the spine back to neutral. Bending into that front leg. As you tilt forwards, left shoulder to left knee, chin to the chest, look to the back leg, and decide if you want to lift the hands up and over the head away from the low spine. Weight into the back leg, use that posterior chain. One more breath here. With control and without pinging, slowly release the hands, bring them down to the inside of the left foot. Now again, walk the hands to the middle, turn all 10 toes to face the long edge of the mat. Let's inhale first, fill the lungs, and then exhale, begin to fold. Good, so switch on the glutes, engage the quads. This time, slightly different twist. Try again, keep those hips level, but we're going to walk both hands over towards the right foot. Holding that foot and gently start to lean and fold into it. Again, we're trying to build awareness into our pelvic stability whilst involving some lateral flexion for the spine, so side bending. So again, everything we learned from the previous position like this, we're then trying to translate to when we come here, so we develop our proprioception. One more breath. Then slowly transfer, walk the hands over to the other side, holding the left foot, slowly folding into it. Again, if you want, feel free to hold and place and figure out where your hips are as you're in this position. One more breath. And then slowly walk all the way back through center just for a little reset. Turning your left toes forwards, bring the hands to the inside of the leg, bend that knee. Inhale, windmill all the way up, warrior two. So again, establish solid foundations. Think about zipping the legs together so we use all the muscles on the legs, not just the quads and the hamstrings. When you're ready, reaching forwards, and then drawing all the way back. Just having a little play. Again, using the obliques, the deep core muscles, just to have a wriggle, just to have a move. Then all the way back to stillness. Windmill those hands down. Step back to your plank position. Inhale, prep. Exhale, knees. Elbows in, lower halfway. Push through the hands, lifting and extending. And then exhale to down dog when you're ready. So again, as we're here, pedal out the feet, have a bounce through the legs, whatever feels good, before we come to the other side. The other side? No, we've got a new sequence. Cool. So, pushing through the hands, take an inhale, slowly start to float the right leg behind you, three-legged dog. You want to keep your hips level again, and start to slowly squeeze your right heel to your right butt cheek. So I want you to try and feel those hamstrings switch on. Keep this squeeze and slowly rotate. Open the hips out towards the right hand side. Breathing, keep pushing through the hands. Doesn't matter if your left heel is off the ground. One more breath here. And then slowly return, three-legged dog. Bring the shoulders over the wrist, plant the right foot on the outside of the hands. Pick it up and move it there if you need. And you're going to let your left knee come down to the floor, squeezing the glutes, keeping this right knee hugging in. So again, we're going to bring some more thoracic rotations into this movement here. This time working with the right hand. So you're going to take the right hand in front of you, thumb facing up, palm facing the inside. Slowly as you push through the left hand, lift the right hand up, create a circle, rotate behind. Exhale, draw it forwards. Maybe come down to your elbow. Inhale to lift. Exhale, come back forwards. Last time, inhale, lifting. Exhaling, coming all the way forwards. Release both hands to the ground. Bring the right hand to the outside of the right leg. Tuck the back toe and push your hips behind you, coming into half splits. Use a block if you would like. Take a moment to reshuffle and steady yourself. Then you're going to point and flex into the front leg. So we get a little bit of flossing, traveling down the hamstring, the rest of the posterior chain of the right leg. Maybe bring in some spinal movements too. And then we're just going to have a little look at an isometric hold, where we start to develop a little bit more strength and awareness into our hamstring. So you're going to start to find stillness in the right leg, bend the knee a little bit, and I want you to push really hard into that heel. So much so that we have the ability to lift the hands off the ground, kind of having the spine sort of facing towards the ground. Good, so we take one more breath here. Don't worry if you're wobbling and falling. Then again, inhale, return, low lunge, bend into the front leg, hands draw up and above the head. Exhale, plant both hands to the inside of the right knee, right foot, lifting the left leg off the ground. We're going to transfer to pigeon, but we're going to take it super slowly, come to another hold. So push into the hands. You're going to scoop this right foot up and into the chest, right knee in between. Bring the nose to the knee, flexing through the spine, holding here for 3, for 2, and then on 1, as you look forwards, land the knee between the hands, slide that back leg away, and slowly come down to pigeon pose. We're just going to be here in stillness, so take this pose however you like. You can completely outstretch the hands, you can make a little pillow, you can put a block underneath your right glute. Whatever it is, just find the breath here, the rhythm of the breath, to move nice and easy. And think about engaging and protecting the low body. So pressing into the front leg as well as the back leg. Good, we're going to go for 2 more breaths here. And when you're ready, start to walk the hands in, lifting the chest, looking upwards. Drop the hips down to the right, and you're going to swivel both legs to the front, releasing them, and give them both a little bit of a shake. Lovely. So from here, you're going to slide the right leg in, bending it for a moment. Now take the left hand, cross it over that foot, so you hold the outside. Right hand now crosses over, we hold the inside. So super slowly, ground down through the left heel. You're going to lift the right leg off the floor. So you take the leg as straight as you want it to be. It doesn't have to be locked out straight. It can obviously be bent. But try keep your spine in neutral so we're not flexing too much. Cool. Now to sort of change the pose a little bit, with the arms straight, we're now going to start to bend them so we can lift the leg a little bit closer towards our nose. Now we can start to drop the chin, bring the nose towards the leg. Again, it doesn't matter if this leg is straight or bent, but make sure there's weight into the left heel so we don't just completely collapse and roll down behind us. Good, we're going to take 1 more breath here, and then we're going to make it active. So, as the arms go back straight again, the leg releases a little bit further away. Engage the quads, see if you can release the hands either side, keeping the spine in neutral, breathing easy for 3, for 2, and then on 1, let that leg come down, give it a little shake. Onto the opposite leg for the twist, so pick up the left foot. Have the option to either keep it there, or you can cross it over the right leg. Regardless, just make both butt cheeks stay on the floor. So, we're going to lift the hands above the head, as I've found this is the easiest way. So inhaling here. Exhale, slowly rotate towards the left hand side. So we're only using our available rotation in the spine, as well as our muscular strength in our core to bring ourselves into the twist. Make sure you're still active into the right leg. We're going to take 1 more breath here, and then take it passively. So right elbow comes to the outside of the left knee, left hand goes behind, push through, support the spine, and then maybe twist deeper if you would like. But again, don't forget about the right leg. 1 more breath here. and inhale, rotating forwards. Release that leg, give it a shake. Then cross both legs in, planting the hands, stepping back to your plank. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, knees. Elbows in halfway. Inhale to lift. And exhale to downward facing dog. And again, as you're here, move, wriggle, whatever feels good. Cool, cool, cool. So, on to the other side. Inhale, you're going to float the left leg straight behind you, coming into three-legged dog. Again, make sure the hips are level. Squeezing that heel to the butt cheek, switch on the hamstring. Slowly push through the hands, rotate, open the hips out towards the left-hand side. Keep pushing, pushing, pushing. Breathing, breathing, breathing. Let the right heel come off the floor if it needs. Then slowly return, three-legged dog. Inhale, look forwards, bring the shoulders over the wrists, plant the left foot on the outside of the hands, let your right knee come down. So you can untuck the toe if you would like, but keep engaging through the lower body. You're going to push through the right hand, take the left hand in front, palm facing the inside. Inhale to spiral, create a 180. Exhale to come forwards, maybe lower down to the forearm. And again, inhale to push and open. Exhale, coming forwards. Last time, make sure your hips stay neutral throughout the movement. Exhale, forwards. Return, plant the left hand. Now take it to the outside of the left foot. Tuck the back toe, push the hips behind you, coming into your half splits. Again, grab a block if you need. We're going to point and flex and move into the front leg. Maybe find some movements for the spine as well. Good, one more breath. And then again, find stillness. Bend that leg a little bit, drive into the heel. See if you can float the hands off the ground and away, finding the balance into just the legs, working isometrically into the belly of the hamstring. One more breath here. And then inhale, bend into the front leg. Draw both hands up and above your head briefly into low lunge. Exhale, plant the hands to the inside of the front leg. Tuck and lift the right leg. As you push into the hands, draw the left knee into the chest, pointing the toe, nose to the knee, pushing through, holding here. Push, push, push through the hands. Breathe for 2. And then on 1, that knee lands. Slide the back leg away. Bring yourself down into pigeon pose. Whatever feels good. And again, remember, pressing, driving into the legs. So we support the hips and the joints. We keep them stable. We're not just using structures that shouldn't be there to support us. So what I mean by that, we're using the muscles around the hips to keep us stable rather than the tendons and the ligaments, because we don't want to overstretch them. Cool, one more breath. And then when you're ready, looking up, plant the hands, lift the chest, drop the hips down to the left hand side, bring right leg to the front, swivel and release, give them both a little shake. So, bring the left foot in, right hand crosses over, holds the outside of the foot, left hand crosses over, holds the inside of the foot. Roll shoulders back and down, press to the right heel, start to lift the left leg in front of you. So again, engage the quads, shoulders are in neutral, not too flexed, looking up. Now when you're ready, bend those elbows, lift the leg. Now you can drop the chin to the chest so we feel the breath moving all the way down the back of the body. Go as deep as you want to go, it doesn't matter where we are, as long as we're practicing mindfully and with awareness of our current abilities. One more breath. And then as you start to straighten up those arms and look in front, engage the quads, release the hands either side, try to keep the chest open, let the legs shake, try and keep it in the same position for 2, and then on 1, let it come down, maybe give your legs a shake. Cool, so other side for the twist. Pick up the right leg. You can have it, again, facing forwards, or you can cross it over the left knee. So both butt cheeks on the ground, hands come up, inhaling here. Exhale, twist towards the right hand side. Again, let's use our joints and our muscles to get us into the twist more without lifting the butt off the ground. Left foot still engaged. One more breath. Now, left elbow to the outside of the knee, right hand behind. Bring yourself maybe a little bit deeper into the pose. See wherever you are. Making sure the breaths are full, as deep as they can be. One more breath. And slowly rotate, look forwards, releasing the legs, give them a shake. Cross them both in, plant the hands and step yourself back to plank. Inhale, prep. Exhale, knees, whole body halfway. Then we lift and squeeze before reversing to downward facing dog. Beautiful. So we've got one more sequence to go before we start to cool down. So taking 2 more rounds of breath here. Lovely. Next inhale, looking between the hands. You decide, you step or you jump down to seated, whatever feels good. And we're going to release both legs out in front of us. So, pressing both heels down into the ground. Join your palms together in front. We're going to try lower the body down with control, 1 vertebrae at a time. So the heels will naturally drag, let them, but it's up to you to brace through the core. So we lower down with control, nice and incrementally. Before the head lands, maybe take a stretch with the arms above the head. So as we are here, let's start to just gently mobilize into the hips. You're going to bring your right knee into your chest and just use one or both hands to just create some circles first of all. Change direction. And I want you to do that again, but without the hands. So again, going one way to start, and then change direction. Cool. And then release the right leg. Left knee hugs in, use the hands, create the spirals first of all. And again, change direction. Now release, do it without the hands, one way to start with, and change direction last time. Beautiful, release and relax. So from here, once again, use an inhale, you're going to lift your right leg straight above that right hip. As straight as it can be a little bit further behind the hip, whatever's most comfortable. Drive into the left heel, hands are going to go either side of the right leg. Use an inhale to lift your shoulders and lift your head. We want to try keep a fairly neutral spine so we're not flexing too much, but as we have that little lift in the shoulders, the core switches on, maybe we see if we can use our active strength in our hamstrings to draw the knee closer to our face. So we're breathing, breathing, breathing for 2, and then on 1, the head and shoulders are going to come back down. Bring the right foot, again, just above the right hip. Now super slowly, plant down through the hands, plant down through the left leg. That right leg is going to slowly go out towards the right side. Now it's not going to touch the ground, it's going to come just before or around, or even after 45 degrees, because we want to make sure the left hip still stays flat to the ground. So breathing here, use the core for 2. It's got to work hard against gravity. 1, and then slowly come back through center. Release that right leg down to the floor. Beautiful. Left leg. Inhale, lift the left foot as straight as it can go. As high as it can go too. Hands, release them either side. Inhaling. Lift the shoulders. Lift the head equally off the ground again. Try to avoid just kinking into one area. Everything is fairly equal, and then see if you want to bring that left leg a little bit closer. Grounding down through the right, breathing here for 3, for 2, and then on 1, release the head and shoulders, Bring that left foot back up above the hip. Ground down through the rest of the body that's still on the floor, and slowly let the left leg move out towards the left side. So using more glute, adductor and abductor muscles, and still making sure the hips are flat. Breathing here, use a core, use your deep hip flexors to keep that leg stable. Then inhale, come back through center before releasing that leg straight. Maybe take another full body stretch and just shake it out. Beautiful. So plant the feet about hip distance apart. You're going to come up into little bridge. You're going to do some pulses and then work with some holds and do some single leg work. So make sure you can feel your heels with your fingertips, just so that the knees are stacked over the ankles. Hands are going to go either side. Push down through the toes, the heels. Start to slowly lift the spine as high as you can, and then slowly back down. So inhale to lift, exhale to release. Just going to pulse a couple more times. I'm not going to give any specific number for how many we should do, but I just want you to start moving in between this pose and figuring out, again, glutes switching on, hamstring switching on, muscles on the outer inner thigh engaging. Cool. So the next time you have your hips lifted off the ground, we're going to stay here. A little bit more cueing. Think that you're about to drag your heels towards your upper body, so hamstrings switch on. Glutes engaged, push the hands down through the floor, and think that you're holding a beach ball between your knees, so not too tight, but also not too loose, so your muscles on the inner outer thigh activate. Now, if you want, make sure both hips still stay facing upwards. You can slowly start to lift the right leg off the ground as high as it wants to go, but try to keep both hip bones facing up. Just take one more breath here. Then slowly, slowly let it land. Transfer, if you want, to the other side, so left leg lifts up. Again, both hip bones face up. We're looking at pelvic stability and core awareness. Exact same cues for the muscles in the lower leg. And slowly release the left foot. Let the bum come back down. Release, hug both knees in. Let yourself rock side to side. Good, and when you're ready, you can start to rock yourself up and down 2 or 3 times, just to get enough momentum. So on this rock, coming up, you're going to take the feet out in front of you, soles of the feet together, little bend in the legs, so we have a little square, and then hands come down to the feet, and we slowly round down through the spine, chin drops to the chest. Couple alternatives you can do. You can thread all the hands underneath, so the knees have the forearms to rest on. If you don't want to go that deep, you can use your block to maybe rest your elbows on and chin into the hands and then fold. Again, you just manipulate this and see whatever works for you. All forehead onto the block. The point is to move into an opposite position that we were just in for the spine, and just make sure the breath can move into the body again. So one more breath here. And then whenever you're ready, slowly start to lift. Pop your object back off to the side. Use your hands to lift up the knees, release the legs in front, give them a little shake. We're just going to do one more vinyasa to finish. So cross the legs in, planting those hands, step back to plank. Inhale, prep as you're here. Exhale, knees, then lower halfway. Inhale to lift, before exhaling, downward facing dog. Cool. So before you come to cool down, just take a nice deep inhale through the nostrils. Exhale out of the mouth. Gonna do a couple of these. Big sigh, a big yawn on the exhale, whatever. Last one. Then
let your knees come down to the floor. Swivel your legs round to the front and bring yourself back down onto your back. We'll just come through some movements to cool down a little bit more. Plant the feet either side of the hips. Take the hands above your head. You're just going to start going gently down towards the right, back through center, then down to the left of the knees. Nice and slow, nice and incrementally. Again, let the breath be long. Still exhale out of the mouth if you need. Let's just go one more time each side with the legs. And as you come back through center and you hug both knees in nice and tight, bring your nose up to the knees, holding it in, squeezing like a little ball. And then release the head, release the right leg to the ground, keep holding the left knee to the chest. Use the right hand to bring the left knee down to the right. Oh, nice click. And extend your left hand away. A little bit of a deeper twist, but still make sure that your hips are stacked one on top of the other. So yeah, it's a little bit of a deeper twist for the thoracic spine because the top leg now has less support. Slowly all the way back through center, swap the legs over, right knee hugs in, left hand draws that leg down to the left side, right hand extends away. Breathe. Of course, if this doesn't feel comfortable, just change it up. One more breath. And then slowly back through center. Let's come to happy baby for our final pose. So feet go up. See if you can grab them by bending the legs and then gently stay still or rock. Feet in together, feet straighter, whatever feels good. One more breath here. And then release by hugging both knees back to your chest. Roll over to either the right or the left hand side. Hold yourself here for a moment. Eyes can be closed if you'd rather. And then when you're ready, pushing up into one last comfortable seat. Close down the eyes if they're not like that already. The hands resting on the lap, take a moment to again just observe your body in this state of stillness. How the breath is moving, where the mind is at, what your soul now feels like. And then when you're ready, you can take your palms at your heart, thanking yourself for all the movement that you brought into the body today. Not only the physical, but the mental, the emotional too. And when you're ready, rub the palms, build up the heat, hands go over the eyes. And slowly, slowly come back to your room when you're ready. So thank you so much again for practicing with me. I hope you enjoyed. Future suggestions, recommendations, comments, you know, all that jazz. Let me know and I will see you next time.